Can you see me?
Yes, I can hear you and I can see you.
All right, Charlie. From what I can see here in our own latest chats, you are looking to build a macro fund with your own partner, and you are looking to raise 20 to 40 million in the asset under management. I think maybe the best way to start this call with is just to give me a better background on you, on what you have already built so far, and what have you already built, if you have already built something. And before the end of the call, if there is any potential collaboration, so I will make sure to share the next few steps from there.
Sounds great. Yeah, so for me, I'm an entrepreneur by trades. I founded and sold 2 companies in my life, and then spent a decade at being a partner leading McKinsey & Company commodity trading practice. My partner is coming from a much more of a hedge fund background. I'm currently leading a private equity fund that's called Forward Partners. My partner comes from the hedge fund space, still is in the hedge fund space. She was specifically a trader at Citadel, and they're their fixed income macro desk. So she does swaps and swaption trading. And then now is the head of strategy at Barclays fixed income desk. So basically builds the strategies and sells them to hedge fund from the sell side perspective. She has a track record of pretty solid outperformance over the last 5 years. And one of the major conversation we're having together is pooling my capital, her capital, and potentially other capital from third party in order to be able to create a micro fund and have that be managed as basically the next big career for her specifically. So it's something that we're entertaining, and following you on LinkedIn, I noticed your content is quite prevalent and relevant. So having raised capital in the past for private equity assets that I'm familiar with, but the hedge fund space, not at all, although I have someone that has a background at performance. So she's a trader. So is she able to lead a whole IR process of fundraising? Sure. Is that her passion? Not really. So now we're in the early stage of shaping what that could look like for us if we were to go down that path. And one of the blind spot that I have personally is around understanding what is the fundraising process when it comes to a micro committed capital hedge fund type fund. And that is the idea of this call.
Got it, understood. And you told me that she had already a track record, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's been managing her own book for 10 years now, I think. 5+ years for sure. Okay,
for 10 years. And how much she is generating for performance each year? Or in average, if we say that.
Yeah, it's on average, it's about north of 15% year-over-year track record. She managed $100 million. It's more on the nominal term that I can give it to you. But last year she did 30. This year she's on track for 16. The year before she did 18. So it's a pretty solid track record in terms of performance on committed capital.
Okay, understood. And she had 10 years track record, and right now she is looking to start a micro fund. Why she is looking to do why she is looking to do that right now? I mean, why she haven't done that before?
I mean, she's 35. It's not really like, I think it's the right time to do it. Before would have been probably a bit early. Yeah, no, I don't think there is. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm sold on the argument that before would have been better. She's building on quite a long track record of understanding what is the market, and she's not looking to raise a fund to just like put a ton of risk on balance sheet to be able to create return. Like, she's looking at building a fund that's sustainable, that is consistent. And in order to be able to get there, like you can't be an off the street PM for 2 years and then do that, right? Like you need to have gone through a few market cycles. You need to have understanding of the capital providers, the flow, and that's really where she's at now. So I would say it's more, it feels more ripe than early or late.
Understood. And your own side or your own rights or your own duty right here, is it like you are looking to raise capital, or is it like you are looking to do the sales process and she is looking to do the trading side? Or what are you looking to do in this specific project exactly?
Yeah, that's how I would think that it would be structured. I've been raising funds on the private equity side for a little while now, and capital for private business before. So it's a world I at least understand well, but I cannot venture to say that I know how to trade. That's where her expertise lies. So I know it's something that she's been looking at. She's been approached by a few funds to be able to have capital given out to her to launch her own fund. It's more something that as a couple we're thinking, is this the right next step for us? So I'm doing these calls to understand a little bit more what's it like, and what are the is this something that like you open up a fund and you close it after 2 years, or is this more long-term capital raise that you do? Like what is the fund cycle time for the capital raise, so that we can understand what our life looks like? Because if you tell me, capital is pulled on a yearly basis, I'll be like, great, then let's just go to a pod shop, and that's probably an easier journey than raising your own fund. So we're currently exploring that avenue. So we're definitely in the earlier stage, but that would be the flying formation, would be that I would help with the fundraising and she would be the brain basically selling the strategies and doing the execution.
Understood. Do you have an intro deck today? Have you already created an intro deck, or have you already started to line up how it would look like?
Yeah, we do. It's not something I would say that we would be ready to share now, but yeah, we have a structure of what that would be.
Understood. And what do you think that you need actually to do right here to raise capital for your own fund that's coming later on?
Well, it depends the type of fund. So the type of fund that we want to do is obviously it's we're looking for long-term capital providers that are looking for a risk-adjusted conservative return on an index, right? So we're not necessarily looking to say like we're going to create a 50% return like consistently year over year and just put a ton of risk on with a great Sharp. We're looking to have something a little bit more steady with a risk-adjusted return that's tied to it. So we know that the type of capital provider for that look more institutional than your typical kind of, we're going to seed a fund from an XPM, because that's a capital that's just more aggressive and it's looking to take on more risk. So understanding a little bit the pool of providers to different types of hedge funds, right, is what I'm trying to get a grasp of, right? Like she's big into option and swaptions, and it's a world of, go put a ton of risk on the balance sheet and knock it out of the park, and you either blow up or you create a material amount of return, right? Like that's the world. Through that experience, she came across a bunch of products that could be returning very interesting return for much lower risk, right? And that is a category that we're looking to get into because we believe that it's just a better lifestyle and more consistent return that compounds better over time rather than a one-time great return. And understanding who are the capital providers to each of these tranches is what I like. What's the granularity of capital provider is my big question, right? So I assume that you have capital provider that you represent that would come in and be like, I want to put massive risk on, give me like outstanding return 1 year and I can pull my capital the next. That's probably one archetype, right? There's probably another archetype that is something along the lines of, you know what? give me index plus 1% with like conservative predictable return, and I'm happy with that, right? And in between those two, and I want to lock in my capital for like 10 years, or it's a continuity fund type of thing. And between those two, you probably have a ton of capital provider that fits between those two extremes. So it's understanding from your perspective and your point of view, how has that materialized? How do you go about the fundraising for that, right? Because we have a lot of exposure towards the short-term, high-risk, high-return expectation crowd, not as much towards the pension, kind of like more risk-adjusted, long-term committed capital type of crowd. And it's understanding how do you guide people that are looking to launch their first funds into which capital provider to go after and how.
Understood. I mean, you have already mentioned before that she had right now 10 years of track record. I mean, at that time, that's through this time, of that time that she has already invested into the hedge fund industry. Maybe it has already got confidence or got any connection with LBS or someone who actually looking to invest into her own fund to get up to 10 million under management. Because the main issue that you would face when you will launch your own fund is the first 10 million. As long as you are under 10 million, no one will take you seriously. I will be completely clear with you. And as long as you are as long as you are under 10 million and you have already spent a lot of time under 10 million, no one will take you seriously later on to invest into you if you are over 10 million, because you have already spent a lot of time. That means you have no connection in the marketplace, or we don't understand how you can raise capital. That means you have no credibility. Okay, so that's exactly how it works. I mean, that's what I can tell you right here for the first stage, because I don't want to tell you the whole stages right here. You will be only overwhelmed. But for the first stage, if you will keep playing under the 10 million asset management for a long time, you will only lose credibility with the time, because you will be asked later on from LBS and investors, why have you already spent a lot of time during that time in the beginning? Why you have already been under 10 million for a long time, and why haven't you done anything on that? So as you have already mentioned to me, she had 10 years track record. It may be that there is someone who would invest into her. It has to be that she can actually get someone from her own network or connection to invest into her own fund when she will launch a fund. Maybe she got someone from there.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of capital we can go after. Now that's a universal.
Why she hasn't launched her own fund before if there is a lot of capital out there from her own connection to get it and to claim it in?
I think the honest answer to that is that there is a maturity curve that you go towards in your life and in terms of timing, and now it's just that maturity is ripe. That's what it is.
It actually can be seen from different angles and from different perspectives. I can absolutely show you as a hedge fund manager who is 21 years old with 2 years track record and who has already launched a fund and raised it over 30 million in less than 6 months. So it can actually be seen from different angles on the timing side. But from your own perspective, you can see that, all right, it was her own time. It took her 10 years to rise up, to get confidence, how to build her own track record. But right now, my main question to you is, you will not think about the first 10 million. She has already built the trust with some allocators or some LBS. You will just think about the first 100 million. If she has already built the trust and she has already had the performance that she has already done for the last 10 years, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I don't want to just to nail your point here, where this conversation is not in silo. Right? Like it's not, I'm not talking to you saying you are my only hope to be able to raise a fund. I am reaching out to you because we are currently in the process of thinking about it with different access network, and you being one of these access network, right?
Yeah, of course, I'm not telling you anything about related to that at all. I'm just telling you when you're telling me the facts right here that she had 10 years track record. Okay, great. She had 10 years track record. She had already someone from her own network to invest into her. If she had already 10 years track record, it will not be valid for anyone in the hedge fund industry to tell them that, all right, she will launch her own fund and she had no one to invest into her to launch the first 10 million. It has to be someone who will actually invest into her if she is performing in the marketplace.